This is Christine Sweet with the Plant-Based Review, and today we are out at the Global Climate Strike in New York City, down here at Battery Park. Greta Thunburg, who's been the youth leader of bringing awareness to the crisis we're in regarding climate change, will be speaking later today. And she's really been the rallying force behind bringing students out from all ages, from grade school to college, out over the past year to raise awareness about addressing climate change, whether it be political, governmental, or individual changes that you can make. There's over 2,500 official events scheduled today around the world, similar like what you're seeing here. So we're going to go out and we're going to talk to folks and see what they're standing for and what they hope to achieve in addressing climate change. We're here at the Global Climate Strike, and I'm surrounded by a bunch of young students. So what are you doing skipping school on Friday?
So we're here to talk about the climate change and how it's affecting us and killing us, and it's not safe for us. It's causing more droughts and sea levels, and we can't adapt that quickly, so it's killing us.
What are some changes that we can do?
We can go vegan.
Vegan? I'm vegan. Are you vegan?
No.
We could reduce the amount of times we use cars.
Awesome. Well, especially in New York, we have transportation, we have subways, we have buses, we have bicycles, and we have our two legs, so we can get around.
We can stop burning fossil fuels.
And
Stop smoking.
Stop pollution.
so where are you learning about this? Are you learning about this in school, or you have to find it out all on your own?
Both.
Because,
I said we're all together finding it out. We all go on the internet. And
you all have access to the internet?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is why Greta didn't use a plane, she used a boat to come all the way from London to New York.
So how do you feel about that? That she sailed across the Atlantic Ocean instead of flying?
I feel like she's inspired a lot of people to change the climate, because it's all gonna affect our life and how we're living.
And it's also because she's making a real difference to people, and she's inspiring people to do the right thing. I feel like she wants to live and she likes change. And she's a big activist. I want to take care of other people's community.
Because guess what? If we don't, in probably like a million years, there'll be garbage all over the floor and animals might die.
I don't even know if in a million years, I think a whole lot sooner, right?
Years old, the Earth might be like destroyed or something.
So I'm curious.
If we don't stop climate change, the Arctic, the ice in the Arctic is gonna melt and it's gonna flood.
So can we see your signs that you have up? So what are you sharing today? The Earth doesn't need us. We need the Earth.
There's no planet B.
So what can we do today?
We can stop pollution and stop smoke.
And we need to inform Donald. We need to stop climate change, not add on to it.
Awesome.
We need to stop burning trees and plant more trees.
We are here to say that we will no longer be silenced into submission by the media or the climate movement, because it is ultimately benefiting Exxon, Chevron, and the Koch brothers, who want us to stay silent. They know our power. They know that we are a threat. And for the politicians who sit in their fossil fuel funded thrones on Capitol Hill, mark my words, the youth are coming. Our voices and stories are crucial to exposing the fossil fuel industry for what it really is, which is an industry that profits on the human rights abuses.
Change the system, not climate. So let's talk about that. How can we go about changing the system. Are you advocating towards getting involved in your local elections?
I think that's something really important. I think people need to learn how to register to vote, especially because a lot of our kids are not from New York, and we also need to understand our politicians and all that, and we have to focus on specifically our green initiatives, because at this point if we don't know what their stances are for climate change, then what's the point of anything else, in my opinion.
We will not be silent. Alternative facts distort reality. Truth matters. Toxic racism pollutes the air. So what are you here today unifying in a message?
I think the biggest thing is vote. We as young people have the power to really change things. The change has to come from higher up, because we can do all we want, and in our own homes we can eat less meat, we can conserve more water, but that's still not going to make a change unless the people in the higher up actually make an active decision to help change our future. So it's voting, it's writing to your congressman, it's protesting, it's lobbying. We have to make sure that we are active in government to make sure that the power and the people who can change things are in the power to do so.
November 5th is around the corner, so what are some of the things that people can plan to vote for this upcoming election season?
Vote for a Green New Deal.
I would say for a while in administration and government, there's been a history of people making choices, maybe tossing environmentally friendly choices aside to get their more immediate needs met, to get their business needs met, who aren't as worried about the future consequences because they might not be around when they happen. So look for people who are going to maybe sacrifice immediate climbing in the system to preserve a future for those of us who are going to be there to inherit the world that they leave us. Look for people who are here for that.
What are you hoping to gain from this movement, this global movement over 150 countries are participating in of today's global climate strike?
We're hoping that the sheer magnitude of people participating shows how much we care and shows how much we're desperate for some kind of change to happen. So I think how monumental it is that this many people are involved in all around the world. So it's not just a government issue. It's not just a U.S. issue. It's a global issue, and the only way that anything's going to actually come from this change is if we all stand up united to actually help make that happen.
Why would a group like yourself that cares about healthcare be out here for the global climate strike?
I think the question is, why would not a healthcare workers union? It is the health of our planet, it's the health of humanity, it's the health of all animals, plants, and so it's the number one concern of healthcare workers is saving lives, and the climate change is killing lives, and unless we stop it immediately, stop the pollution, stop the oil companies and the fracking that's going on, the planet is going to not be livable anymore. And so we care about our generation and our future generations as well.
And can I ask, do you have any thoughts on how our diet can play into having a positive impact on our environment and obviously our health?
Well, clearly the foams and the methane that's released from the animals is also a major contributor to the pollution in the air, and it's causing the seas to rise and the temperatures to rise. And so clearly the way food is growing and the residue from food, the plants and animals, is a key factor in terms of what's going to happen with the future of our planet as well. As far as health goes, clearly a healthy diet is one that has much less animal food in it and has much more vegetation and vegetable food in it.
Excellent. And from coming out today and showing support at this event, what do you hope is the takeaway? And especially with involvement from all different walks of life, from students to unions to healthcare professionals.
I myself and our union has been marching since the Vietnam War to stop the Vietnam War, and the Iraq War we tried to stop, which we all know now was an insane proposition that cost the country many trillions of dollars and did nothing but destroy millions of lives in the process and destroy civilizations in the Middle East as well. So the takeaway from us is to see this rising up of the younger generation with all across the board is one of the most inspiring things we've seen in decades and decades, if not maybe forever. I think we have now a rising movement that will turn this around, without question will turn it around. Clearly it has to start with changing the president, because his first act was to allow pollution in the streams and the rivers. That was his first executive order that he had, and since then he's been doing everything to turn around, even right now in California, about emission standards.
The EPA is looking at deregulating methane emissions.
Exactly.
And even BP, Shell, and ExxonMobil are not keen on it.
Which is absolutely shocking.
Yeah.
So the allies are getting broader. The strength of the youth movement is getting stronger, and from all sectors there's a realization. And to see this 15-year-old young woman coming into her own and leading the charge throughout the Western world at this point is a phenomenal thing to see.
Hello, New York City. It is an honor for me to be here with all of you today on this historical day. And thank you all so much for coming. I heard they were in New York, they're still counting, but at least 250,000 people. And around the world today, about 4 million people have been striking. We are still counting. So this is the biggest climate strike ever in history, and we all should be so proud of ourselves because we have done this together. So thank you so much.
As I just be getting older and older, I just feel that the summers will just be getting hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter, and warmer and warmer and warmer. Something that we really need to pay attention to as a community and be aware and know that these have been the hottest summers ever recorded in human history, and we have to know that. And we have to understand our environmental impact on this earth and really make a difference.